I'm going to talk about one of the most important concepts in fighting, boxing, MMA, whatever, is distance management. And the most important part of that management is, where do you need to be when you start to attack your opponent? Because you got to be able to attack your opponent at the proper distance, the proper range, or you're going to end up too close, or more importantly, you're going to end up too far away and you're going to give your opponent too much time to react. So the first thing you need to do, especially when you're sparring, is establish the jab. So when I'm facing off to my opponent, as you can see right now, there's a lot of space between me and my opponent. So if I extend my jab arm out, that's a good solid almost 2 feet away. So what am I going to do? If I throw that jab out there and it's nowhere near touching any part of my opponent's defense, I need to take a step in. All right, I'm just going to take a little step in. Now look again. I'll take a little step now. If I can just barely touch his defense, okay, I'm at the proper range I need to stay at. Now I'm just one step away where I can just step in and throw hard combinations to my opponent. But that's the trick, is you got to be able to find that correct distance, because once you get to that correct distance, your opponent's going to be one step of hitting you. So again, so if I'm on the outside, we're moving around with sparring, I throw that jab out and I touch nothing but air, it's an air ball, I gotta make that adjustment step. So I throw the jab, it's nothing there. Make an adjustment. I'm not taking big steps in because I don't want to overshoot my opponent and he counter punches me or intercepts me. So again, I throw that jab out, nothing. I throw that jab out, nothing. If I can barely touch him, or if it's just close enough, especially with his hands are up. If he's got his hands down, it's got to be kind of right here. Or if he parries it, so he parries it with the rear hand, I know I'm at the perfect range. That's where I want to be before I start my attack. So let me show you again. I throw the jab, I test it, nothing. Okay, I'm at the perfect time. No, I'm at the perfect distance now. So now I can attack with my combinations, attack by combination. Now I can do like a double jab, cross hook, body, and start unloading and attacking my opponent. So that's very important. So step one, use the jab, find the distance, find the correct range. So I might throw it out, I might throw it out. Remember, he's going to be moving too. If he's moving around, that distance is going to change. But once I find, okay, that's good. See, he's stepping now. He's controlling it. Okay, now when I feel I'm ready, I can attack my opponent and maybe get in. That's how you set up them body shots and you attack it with your combinations. You got to do it from the right distance. What I used to do, where I failed a lot when I was fighting back in the amateurs, was I was jabbing, but I was stepping and throwing big shots from too far out. I was throwing hooks, overhands, lead hooks from too far away. Okay? I didn't use my head movement properly. I didn't use my jab properly to get at the right distance before I initiated my attack. So, use the jab to get the correct distance before you initiate your attack against your opponent. Now once you establish the jab, you get the correct distance where you can attack your opponent from. What happens what are you going to do after you attack your opponent? Okay, besides moving your head, using footwork, a more broader strategy is, once I attack my opponent, I'm going to disengage and move away and go back out to that same distance I was when I started. So I'll give you an example. All right, I touch with the jab, I attack my opponent with a combination. Let's say I step out and do a step pivot, and now I'm back out at the end of my jab. So I want to start at the end of my jab and then end at the end of my jab. That's only if I'm attacking and moving, where I'm more using a boxing style, where I'm on the outside, I'm working my jab, maybe high, low. I attack my opponent, maybe I move my footwork, and then go back to the jab distance. Okay? Now, if I want to stay in the inside, okay, I got to find the range, attack from here, and then when I'm done punching, if I'm going to stay in the middle, I'm going to move my head. But preferably, I want to get to the side. So once I attack my opponent, I can spring to the side and just keep attacking my opponent. Or I can twist to create space and keep attacking my opponent. Those are the different strategies if I want to stay on my opponent and keep the pressure on. But a lot of people want to box, hit, and then move. Use your feet. Okay? If he's a big, strong guy, I don't want to just stay in there with him. He might overpower me. So either way, I'm going to return to the jab. So this is my final concept or point I want to make, is returning to the jab. So remember, I'm going to find the correct distance to fire, to attack from with my jab. Okay? Once I find that, I can attack my opponent with hard, solid combinations. Now, I can either stay in the pocket, use my head movement, more of a peekaboo style, maybe get to the side, keep attacking, or I can go back out to the outside to that jab range, and now I'm going to do what we call the exit or the safety jab, where I put that hard jab on my opponent. What that's going to do is stop him from retaliating and following me in. So watch this. So I'm using the jab, find the right distance, attack from that correct distance. I move back out to the outside. As he steps in to hit me, I put that jab right in his face. So that's a good strategy. Is I'm going to start with the jab, attack off my jab, use my footwork, and then go back to the jab. And that works also is if he comes forward, if I attack my opponent and he goes back on his own, he uses footwork, then I can go back to the jab. It doesn't matter what style of boxing, whether you like doing Philly shell, more traditional, more Russian, European style, more peekaboo, you're going to find the correct distance with the jab, you're going to establish the jab, you're going to attack off the jab, and then you're going to return to the jab.